Hello, it's Emma Jo here from Lavinia Stamps, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this rather lovely A6 card using multifarious card. I'm going to start with Elements Ink Sundance. Just going to blend it in with my stencil brush. There we go. That's all I need for the yellow there. Next, green sleeves. If you start at the edges of your card with your colour, then you can taper out into that lovely subtle tone, and so it blends nicely with your yellow. And I'm just going to give that a generous splash across the bottom. And again to the top. So that's our base colour. We're also going to add a little bit of pine to the outside edges. Okay. Don't stress about perfect blending in this card, because I like to layer my colours, and that gives this lovely feeling of depth. Now we're taking some Elements Ink Olive and just filling in the bit in between the two corners. There we go. So next I'm going to grab the smallest of the corners and I'm going to ink it up in VersaFine Clair Twilight. Okay, just line that up with each corner. Now I'm going to grab the tallest of our mushroom stamps and making it have a bit of character and wiggling that stem, and then ink it up with your VersaFine Clair Twilight. And last by no means least, the Diddy mushrooms from the Lamps set. But I think they work perfectly with these mushrooms. There we go. So I'm going to grab a yellow Posca and colour in this bit here. And try and imitate the same sort of thing on the miniest of mushrooms. There we go. So it sort of ties them in with a theme. Now the next bit, it's exciting. We're going to rip some paper. So I'm just going to take a bit of my paper here and let's start with a little bit of olive. And we're just going to gently pop some colour against the edge of this torn bit of paper. And that's going to create a lovely landscape. Now remember to go back in with your olive just to create a darker edge. Okay. There we go. I'm quite happy to have this jaggedy edge. It gives the impression of, if you like, out of focus hedges. So next one, graphite. And just take your darker colour along the edge, and without adding extra colour to your brush, just take it further down to create another layer. There we go. Fabulous. Okay, next I'm going to grab some mulberry. And again, do it darker at the top. So next to your bit of paper is the darkest bit. here. And then just smudge it out into almost nothing. Super. Look at that. Already you've got this feeling of something happening behind the mushrooms. So dark denim is my last one. And this is going to go around the base of the mushrooms. So when you see the bottom of that stalk, add a darker bit. So there we go. Now, my friends, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of Dragon's Thorn. I'm going to use some VersaFine Clair Warm Breeze to just take this up the sides. And we're only stamping half of it. There you go. And that creates that frame, which is lovely. Now we're going to switcheroo, and it's the turn of Leaf Creeper. And for this, we're going to start off with VersaFine Clair Warm Breeze. And you can see I'm doing it in first and second generation stamping. And third. Right, now I'm going to get a Shady Lane. So you've got that lovely mossy frame. Finally, I'm going to grab a very small tree, popping it in VersaFine Clair, but I'm stamping off first. I'm going to pop it on the second rung. There we go. Right, now we need some stars. So using your VersaFine Clair Nocturne, ink it up, stamp it off, and add some stars, my friend. There we go. Right, so take your smallest of your stencil brushes, and we're just going to try and add some depth. So dark denim. I'm just going to fill in my edges. Okay, can you see where that lovely intricate framework is? I'm just going to bring it out by adding a little touch of orange at the top and the bottom corners. Probably doesn't look like much, but trust me, it makes a difference. Okay, grab some Mondelez watercolour pencils, and I'm going to take a yellow, and you can see where the brambles are paler. Just going to add a little bit of yellow to help them stand out a little bit more. And you do that at the top and the bottom. There's a lovely green in here, and I'm just going to use that to go on the inside of my corners. Now you can see I'm colouring on the side because that gives me a much softer shade. And it's subtle. You can build that up. Super. Right, let's pop those away. Now we are going to need some glitter, and that is going to be gold Stickles, a little bit of yellow and white Posca as well. There we go. And you can see in the framework a whole load of these tiny, tiny circles. And if you just colour them in with your white Posca, your frame starts to come to life again, which is fabulous. Righty-ho. So with my yellow, I'm just going to add some more orbs. You can go around the outside of some of the white ones. It's rather magical, I think. And then with a little bit of Stickles Gold, I'm just going to go and do a dot in the centre of all these stars. It's a lovely way of creating stars without actually having to get the glitter into all the right bits and points of the star. I'm going to use the blue Stickles now, which is called Waterfall, and just add some of that blue to those dots. Not all of them, but just add different coloured bling. I'm going to put a little bit of cayman in as well. Along that lovely leaf creeper. And now we're going to add from Sentiment Sticker 6. I'm going to take some of the words and I'm going to call it, bear with me, I'm looking for the word floating, lullaby, and if I can find it, there it is, sunshine. I'm going to call it, are you ready? Floating, sunshine, lullaby. And the finishing touch is to grab a Kuretake real brush, Clean Colour Pens. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but if you grab one of those and if you go for, I've gone for light grey, and just go underneath your sticker. You can build up that shading until you're happy, just to make it pop. There we go. And we have made an A6 card called Floating Sunshine Lullaby. Thank you very much for coming along and joining me and helping me make this card. I hope you've enjoyed yourself and hopefully I will see you again soon. But in the meantime, you take care. Take care. Bye.